Petitions and Deputations, and Kathi Kerr is here. Welcome back. It's been a while, Kathi. Come on up to the microphone whenever you're ready.
There. Okay, start the clock. Good evening, and thank you, Mayor Clark and Council, for your dedication to Ramara. It's a challenging job. I'm Kathi Kerr, 133 Matchedash. I have a soft spot for Ramara as I spent many years living here and appreciate the opportunity for civic engagement. I believe it's vital to our democracy. It's my privilege and pleasure to be here to discuss important topics that affect us all and to propose an economical idea. Welcome news for strained budgets and fiscal restraints. I'd like to take a moment to highlight what defines Canada's unique identity. Geographically speaking, we're extremely fortunate to live in Canada with its 10 provinces and 3 territories. This vast country covers 10 million square kilometers and is second largest country in the world. Canada comprises 7% of the world's landmass. We have the longest coastline on the planet, 343,000 kilometers. And when it comes to fresh water, there's an estimated 31,752 freshwater lakes, covering 9% of Canada's surface. Imagine the value in our resources and the stewardship responsibility to protect this great land and our sovereignty. Canada has 318 billion trees, the second highest number of trees in the world. Our forests cover 367 million hectares, which is about 40% of the country's landmass. That's great news. Canada has long ranked among the world's leaders in the production of uranium, zinc, nickel, potash, asbestos, sulfur, cadmium, and titanium. We're also a major producer of iron ore, coal, petroleum, gold, silver, and lead and copper. Canada ranks third globally for cobalt with reserves of 600,000 tons and abundant oil and gas. That's all great news. So why am I here, you might ask? Well, I'd like to switch gears for a moment and come closer to our home, our municipalities. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, recently published their much anticipated study. I'm sure some of you have read it, just came out January of 25, entitled Municipalities Under Pressure, the Human and Financial Cost of Ontario's Homelessness Crisis. The numbers were staggering. 81,515 Ontarians experienced homelessness in 2024. That's Ontario. Without immediate intervention, homelessness could more than triple by 2035. In 2024, municipal pressure totaled $2.1 billion. Investment by municipalities has grown by over $900 billion. And yet the provincial and federal governments are not paying their fair share. The levels of government that caused the issue together are paying less than $40 million combined. Poverty is strangling the poor and middle class. 2 million Canadians access food banks regularly. Imagine. But first, it's important for us to know our history and how we got here, where we are today. Here's a quick timeline. In 1937, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, was founded as an advocacy group with no formal power but significant influence. This organization later became affiliated with the United Nations. In 1946, the League of Nations transitioned into the United Nations, founded in part by the Rockefellers. In 1948, the World Health Organization, WHO, was formed. As early as the 1950s, the UN began funding scientists to discover climate change. Did you hear that? Discover climate change. In 1976, the UN met in Vancouver, BC, to begin plans to take over control of Canada. And in 1990, ICLEI was founded, the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. In my opinion, that was when Canada began to incur tremendous debt. Adding to more organizations almost invariably leads to increased costs and decreased efficiency. When local initiatives are transferred to international bodies, the likes of ICLEI, we soon discover that these non-governmental organizations, NGOs, don't align with Canadian beliefs, values, traditions, and local needs. We have abundant land for locally grown food. So why are 2 million Canadians utilizing the food bank regularly? A third of them are children. Why is Canada so steeped in debt, projected to be $2.10 trillion, nearly double what it was in 2007-8? Where did the money go? And why, in this resource-rich country, are many struggling to put food on the table? Part of the reason is that we are signed up to the UN Agenda 21, thanks to former PM Brian Mulroney, who I believe sold us out in 1992, and we've been going further and further into debt since. Did you realize that we are one of the few countries that pays carbon tax? That's right. China, the biggest emitter, pays no carbon tax. India pays no carbon tax. I realize that this is controlled at the federal level, and I will share my thoughts as to how we can save money at the municipal level. Here's the good news. We are not indebted to NGOs known as ICLEI. This is a voluntary national organization that has little or no obvious tangible benefit for Canada. Have you listened to the FCM staff partnered with ICLEI when they attempt to sell their free program? And the ICLEI rep didn't even show up. The presenter was unconvincing and unable to answer basic questions that councillors asked. Questions like, what is the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Or how long would it take staff to complete the 5-step milestone framework in the climate protection plan? One would assume that it might be reasonable to have the data at your fingertips to know what percentage we're dealing with before taking time to reduce emissions. I imagine when any of you make a presentation that you come as prepared as possible. You've done your homework. If there is no financial benefit for municipalities being involved with ICLEI, why remain in the program? They accept no liability, yet we continue to support them, taking valuable staff time, your staff, and effort at a time when fiscal responsibility is more crucial than ever. The Federal Green Slush Fund is riddled with scandal. I don't know if you're following it, but it's pretty disgusting. I wonder about the Green Municipal Fund, which would be giving you grants, don't you? Countries around the world are withdrawing their funds from organizations like the UN, WEF, and WHO. It has been rumored that the UN Geneva is closing. That would save hard-working taxpayers a lot of money, and municipalities would become the real decision makers in our communities, as was originally planned. Imagine with the money we save, we could feed those folks lined up at the food bank. What can we do at the local level? We can discontinue all affiliation with money-hungry, optional organizations for starters. Yes, we can exit them. This would remove us from the UN programs like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, and Partners for Climate Protection Program, PCP. And finally, here's the great news. Canada is already carbon neutral, thanks to our trees. And so there's no business case for net zero in Canada. Canada should not be paying any carbon tax. And by removing the carbon tax, we would save in excess of $5.7 billion per year. That would feed many hungry people. You folks have the power and authority to remove Ramara from ICLEI and save a lot of time for your staff and tax money for your constituents. I hope that you will do your own research and you'll find for yourself no benefit, only liability. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kathy.
I don't know if you've had a chance to read this. You can download it. It's very saddening. It's disgusting in this country that we put up with this. It really is.
I'm not sure. Do we give any money to ICLEI? I didn't think we did, but we can certainly find out.
Yeah, that would be great. I have done a lot of research on this over the years, on the United Nations in particular. I have done a booklet for each of you on my research, my personal research, and I think you'll be quite alarmed. I really do. It's not the good United Nations that we all thought it was. It really isn't. They have a deep, dark, corrupt agenda. And the more that we can bring this to light to people, the better off we'll all be. And I know, Mayor Clark, I know you're warden of Simcoe County. I know that was passed at Simcoe County before your time. But it's crazy trying to get your staff to spend all that time on on a scam. I'm sorry, that's what it is.
Well, where we get caught, and here again, we follow the policy laid down by the province. So
I
we
know.
would have to look into that to see if that's
I
even
know.
an option for us, because as they always say, we're what they call a child of a province. The only reason municipal government even exists is because the province of Ontario allows us to exist. Because we deal with matters that they don't really want to be bothered with, right?
I know.
So,
And we need more civic engagement from people. We really do. It's quite disgusting, the amount of people that show up tonight. I've got some friends and family here tonight, but that's, that's their choice.
I
And you know,
recognize some, yes, yes, I do. Yeah.
Anyway, if I may, I'll hand out these quickly and,
Yes, absolutely.
thank you for your time.
And I'll go to, I'll start with Deputy Mayor and then Councillor to you.
Thank you, Kathy. Quick question for you. What is your background? Yeah.
Oh, your mic there.
Turned it off. I had a business with my husband for 7 years, very successful business in pharmacy. He's glad he's not in it now. I was a registered nurse by profession. I've taught at Georgian College. I spent many years in the operating room in Toronto and Guelph, other places where we have lived. I've sat on boards before, so I am researched. My job now is I'm a full-time researcher, and I do that independently.
And what is your connection to the homelessness then? I know you put that in part of your deputation, but I didn't hear a whole lot.
Reading everything I've read about the homeless. And, when I read this to people, they said, well, why are you bringing all the resources of Canada in? Because people don't realize how resource rich we are. And we have homeless people that have jobs. The food people at the food bank, a lot of them have jobs. They cannot make ends meet. And it's only going to get worse, because if you've read Agenda 21, I brought the book tonight. I've read it through and through. This has been planned for many, many years, and it's only going to get worse with the land grabs. We've seen it at the provincial level, and it's coming down to us. And if we don't act now, then we're lost. We're sunk. We lose Canada is what happens. It sounds dire. It is dire. It really is. So I have vast experience, very varied, but I have a big science background also.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor to you.
Thank you. Kathy, can you tell me, are you affiliated with the anti-ICLEI group called ICLEI?
No, I'm not affiliated with them. I am aware of them. I follow them. I follow all the municipalities, actually. I live in Aurelia. I know Gail Jackson, and I don't know her, but she knows me. So yeah, I have no formal affiliation with any group, other than we do have a group in Aurelia that it's an advocacy, or it's an informing knowledge based group for anybody that wants to come, because our municipality has grown so big. They don't want to talk to the average person. And I know I have a very good relationship with this council over the years. We've been gone now for 4, but I was a regular attendant at municipal, and Mayor Clark can stand for that. I mean, that, right? I mean, I was very active. So I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for everybody. I don't need to be affiliated with anybody. I know what I need to do. I need to educate people so that you know what's going on. So when the hammer comes down, you are warned. Anyway, that's my place. I don't have any money to be made. I don't take any money. I do this at my own expense. I do get some help from our group when they want to donate money. We have very interested, neighbors, friends that are interested, are awake, do know what's going on. So that's where we get our momentum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, you've given us something to look at. Councillor Bell, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, Kathy. I know sometimes when we're not in the room, you don't know that we're listening. So I just wanted to say thank you, and that I did hear you, and that I will look forward to reading the material that you're leaving.
I'll leave yours with Ashley.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We will have a look at it.
Thank you so much.